Welcome to the Seller Roundtable e-commerce coaching and business strategies with Andy Arnott and Amy Wees.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Andy Arnott with
Amy Wees.
And this is Seller Roundtable number 76. And we have a return. It's part two. You guys are probably too young to remember part two. What was that movie with? It was like one of those like cheesy 90s movies where they like spoof. Yeah, I can't remember the full name, but anyway.
It sounds very familiar to me.
I digress. We have Liran Hirschkorn here. Hey man, thank you for being on today. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me on. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know Liran, he's gonna give you a little bit of background. You don't have to go as deep. If you want to hear more about, like, go really deep, go back to the previous episode and listen to that. But just kind of update us to what you're doing now.
Sure. Well, yeah, a little background. I got involved in selling on Amazon in 2014. Built a couple of private label brands. Now I also run an Amazon advertising agency. So we're managing ads for over 100 brands on Amazon. And I'm involved in some other things. I'm actually advising a lending company in this space, and I'm also advising a company that is acquiring Amazon brands. So
I'm gonna guess. I honestly don't know who it is, but I've seen them everywhere. So it's probably Thrashio, right?
It's not Thrashio.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, a new competitor. I like it.
There are a lot. Yeah, and it's something we can kind of talk about a little bit in the context of like bigger picture Amazon stuff. But I've had conversations probably with 5 or 6 of these types of companies now that are coming in. And so what happened was in April, there was an article in TechCrunch about how Thrashio raised money. And I think at that point almost had $1 billion valuation. Then they raised money since then again and got to $1 billion valuation. And what that did was it lit a fire under a lot of people in the space with access to raising money and institutional money and coming in. So I've had some conversations with probably 5 or 6 companies. And there's probably 100 of these companies right now that are looking to acquire Amazon brands. The thing that it does is, one, it validates the fact that like big money's coming in. It means there's an opportunity. At the same time, I think it means that, sellers have to step up their game a little bit because the competition is going to be putting more money into things like creative and packaging and things like that. The nice thing is that generally, for the most part, Amazon's like a playing level field, right? Like you can't, both a big brand and we could bid the same thing to get those top positions, et cetera. And I think a lot of times the advantage that you have is that you care a lot more about launching and having success with a product than employee number 155 at Thrashio, right? That's just nature of entrepreneurship. So I feel like, there's still great opportunity for sellers, but also like I do see this kind of shift in terms of big institutional money coming into Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people don't know about these companies, they operate very similar, but some have their own little spin on it where it's, a lot of times they'll approach you or you can approach them and say, hey, I want to exit, or they might say, hey, we want to acquire. And then they do a deal where, they either, they give you a multiple and then a kind of a payout after a certain period of time, or they let you keep some, some people, want to keep a small bit of equity as it grows. There's all these kind of creative ways that they're doing this. And what these companies are, they're pretty much like I don't want to call them incubator, but that's kind of what they are, where they've got a team of people, they've got like listing optimization experts. They've got PPC experts. They have all these people who are experts in, a specific thing on Amazon. And when you bring that team together, they can really optimize an Amazon business. So they kind of got processes in place and all this stuff in place. So it's a really interesting business model. It's something I actually thought of years ago, and I wish I would have deployed. But I think Casey's working for Thrashio now, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah. Casey is their VP of SEO, and he leads a team that I think all they focus on is like organic ranking.
Yeah. That's cool.
For the brands.
Yeah. Interesting.
Kind of a similar company I'm involved with. The name is Flywheel Commerce. It's buying brands. They have a kind of a particular focus in pets and baby, but because they already have some companies there and like big email lists, but they're essentially looking to acquire, um, product brands that are doing 1 million or more in revenue.
Yeah, that's
But
interesting.
yeah, it's a great opportunity to to build up. I also happen to think that valuations are going to rise over the next few years because as some of these bigger players are looking at the same companies to acquire, there's going to be maybe more bidding to buy. So if you're building a brand, it's a great time because potentially your valuations may go up over the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, and I also think that, if you have an established Amazon account, like the value of that account, especially with like the reviews and, kind of a seasoned account, where you have a lot of data when they can come in and see what you've done in the past, see, PPC stuff, like all that kind of stuff. The more data that those companies have, the more they can optimize that business, right? So, yeah, I agree with you there. On the PPC side, since I feel like that's really what you've been digging into lately, this is kind of a general question. Our audience is, anywhere from starting up to, some advanced stuff. But what I see a lot of is a lot of overlooked placements, right? There's Amazon's always rolling out new placements. So what do you think right now is like the most overlooked placement, and where do you think that people can have the best kind of return on investment in terms of some of the new placements out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the last year, there's been a lot of new placement, a lot of new ad types, and Amazon playing around a lot with the same types of ads, but in different placements. I still think video ads, even though there's been talk for some time about video ads, but I still think video ads are underutilized. There's still a lot of sellers that I talk to that say, yeah, I'm going to work on video, or haven't gotten around to doing it, or they don't have brand registry and they haven't done it yet. And I still think video ads are probably, the best opportunity in terms of like not only a new ad type where you can get a lower cost per click, but like where you can actually get a lot of traffic. On desktop, it's taking up the placement of where would be 4 listings across that. So you're getting a lot of visibility. And I think that's, a great opportunity. So I would say that number one, definitely sponsored display product targeting ads. They're not driving a tremendous amount of traffic, but they're getting a low cost per click. You can achieve a lower A cost there. And just to give you some examples, like on the video side, there's like some competitive niches that we're advertising in where, on like some consumable products where like the cost per click might be like $3 to $4 on sponsored product. And like literally right underneath that with a big video spot, it's like $1.50 cost per click. So like you're really getting, you can get a lot more clicks for your money, and you can compete in on keywords that you wouldn't maybe want to compete on for sponsored products. Sponsor display product targeting, again, doesn't drive as much traffic, but gets you can get a lot of cheap clicks. And then I think sponsored brand ads driving to storefront present an opportunity because there are certain placements when you create a sponsored brand ads that you get on people's product pages only if you're sending those ads to storefront. And again, there's more people that haven't gone around to creating a storefront, or have older sponsored brand ads that are what's called product collection, that are going to a landing page and not to the storefront, and so they're not getting those placements on detail pages. And those sponsored brand ads on detail pages are also an opportunity. So all those to me are opportunities. I think people should be optimizing their storefronts. I've seen recently even ads like there's store spotlight sponsored brand ads that are if you have kind of like a bigger catalog, especially for branded searches. So somebody searching your brand name, you can really show them, different categories of products that you sell that are converting better than just sending them to a detail page. So I think it kind of depends on your catalog, but all this presents opportunity.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you on both of those those ad placements. And I think sponsored display, like what I really love about sponsored display is you can get super creative with it, right? So like if you sell a bike pump, then you can go out and look at all the, bike tubes or bike tires, or, like that kind of placement that a lot of people don't think about, where it's like, if somebody's buying this, like they are very likely going to buy this other thing either in the same purchase or, very, in the near future. So if they're seeing that ad, they might get retargeted and things like that. So that's where I really love, starting out, like what I'll normally do. And I don't know if you do this, Liran, is, I'll set up like a category sponsored display, right? And kind of see what performs, and then kind of look at, the types of products that it's converting for, and then go back and then just target those products. And that seems to be working really, really well for us. And I really like like you said, we see a lot lower, because not a ton of people have still caught on, you're seeing a
Mhm.
lot lower, cost per click, a lot lower, or a lot better ACOS, return on ad spend, and all that good stuff. So,
Yeah.
yes.
And I would say another way that we're finding targets is so there's a number of ways to find targets, right? You can, number one, look at your ASINs that are converting on the sponsored product side from auto and manual. But then I would say we like to target a lot more than that because of the difference in cost per click, because we know that certain ASINs that are, like you said, they're not necessarily competitor, but they may be loosely related or complementary, wouldn't work on sponsored products because the cost per click is too high. They do work on sponsored display because the cost per click is much lower and you can get a lot more clicks. So we use brand analytics a lot for this research. So if I'm if I have a barbecue glove, I would put into brand analytics like the word barbecue, right, or BBQ, and just find all the related terms, and then near those terms are going to be the corresponding ASINs that are getting the most clicks, and download that and put in a lot of these ASINs into these campaigns. And like, you're not risking, you can put low budget and you're not risking like $1 cost per click on a lot of these ASINs. It's going to be more like 10 cents, 15 cents, and you can afford to have more clicks, to get a sale. I mean, we have a customer that sells like some coffee accessories, and we put it on like an espresso machine. So I have a client that sells like a coffee canister, so it, like, you can store your coffee beans, and we're getting sales off an espresso machine, which is, again, not really like competitor, but just in the same category, and we're able to drive sales. Those are the kind of products that I think you, at least right now, you have the opportunity to put ads on those.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know what Leron's talking about, so brand analytics, if you're not brand registered, you won't have access to it. But what he's talking about is you put in a keyword, right? When you put in a keyword, you'll get a list of not only the most searched terms related to that term, but then also the ASINs that convert first, second, and third, most converting ASINs. He's harvesting those ASINs, meaning, copying them, pasting them into a sponsored display campaign, and then casting a really wide net, and then from those ASINs, he's able to see what converts and then adjust bids accordingly, which works really, really well. So definitely, if you guys have not done that yet, when you listen to this episode, go and fire those up, get those going, especially before Q4, or I guess we're in Q4 now when you're listening to this. So get them going ASAP. You want to start converting before the shopping season really gets into full steam, so that you have that data. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be for you to get that data. On that note, Liran, what do you've heard a lot of people coming into Q4 here. Everyone's like saying Q4 is going to be this year's going to be crazy. Get lots of stock, things like that. But then it's also on the flip side, it's like, well, wait a minute, I got 10 times as much as I got last year in inventory, but I can't send it to Amazon. Now what? So kind of what are you doing for your Amazon business? What are you telling your clients to do when people are running into those issues?
Yeah. So I think this year you really need to be prepared with, a 3PL. That's probably, I would say the main thing. Not someone who can just, inbound products into Amazon for you, but also who can do merchant fulfilling for you. We still don't know what things are going to look like as it gets into November and December. And I mean, is it possible that Amazon's going to have problems fulfilling products? Like, it could be, right. I think Amazon's going to make a big effort this year to try to get people to shop early. Even the Prime Day ads that they've been running, where they're like, get your holiday shopping started early. So they're trying to push people. They want to spread out those purchases over the next, few months. But I think being prepared with a 3PL and being able to merchant fulfill either yourself or with third party warehouse, I think is really important. And trying to improve your IPI scores over time if need be, to kind of get more turns and sell more, is kind of like the best the best situation you can put yourself in. I think the logistics side is going to be the biggest potential issue that people have, and getting shipping products in time to Amazon, and Amazon accepting your products in time, and navigating that, and knowing, not really knowing what the sales are going to be. Should you lower your price for Prime Day? Do you have too much inventory? Do you not? Like, it's very hard to predict this year, how much it's gonna, how much things are gonna sell in the fourth quarter. Are you gonna run out of stock? Do you have too much stock? Trying to make those decisions, I think is kind of like what you need to be smart enough with your inventory, because maybe you don't need to run a coupon on Prime Day because like sales are going to be so good this this fourth quarter. Then again, you have to just, I think you just have to balance some of the risks of what may happen with fulfillment and with your ability to ship products in, and all those potential issues. But I do think it's going to be the biggest Q4 Amazon has ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they're always usually up by like 20%, right? But it's I agree with you. I think it's going to be more like probably 40, or something like that. I definitely agree with you there, and I definitely agree with you on the 3PL thing. The only thing I'm worried about, honestly, is a lot of these 3PLs might not be able to handle the crush of incoming business, right? So if you guys have the ability, my suggestion would be, definitely get a 3PL, but maybe even, have some high school student trained up on how to do some, print labels and use ShipStation and merchant fulfill in case, that channel starts to fail you. So you're not sitting there with all this inventory.
And that's already happening to a lot of people. I think there's already, I know, I'm in a lot of the resellers groups, and they're having issues with their prep centers because they're getting overwhelmed with all the people coming in. And, people ordered huge orders from their suppliers, and then they weren't able to send anything in. So now they're just kind of getting stuck, and then shipping costs went way up as well. And now Amazon not only is playing games with these limits, right? But they're also really changing a lot of stuff. And there's been a lot of suppressed listings lately, like for all kinds of different issues. Have you noticed that, Liran? Like, what have you seen in terms of the suppressed listings, and what do you think is going on there?
I saw today, I mean, I think Amazon has this year put in place a lot of these bots that are running, that are suppressing listings for a variety of reasons. I saw today listings were down because they had the word bonus in them, in the listing. So I think Amazon is running a lot of these things. I saw listings that were down about a month ago because they had something, people had something like, only buy from this authorized seller kind of language in them. Amazon suppressed that. So if you're getting your listings suppressed, it's likely some wording that you need to change, but like you might not know. You might need to play around with it and try to figure out what might be the language. But yeah, one of my ad clients yesterday had 80 listings that were suppressed, and then today they messaged us and they said it was the word bonus. So I just think there's Amazon just has more of these like things in place. I'm seeing it when people are loading images, that images are not getting, approved. If there's some, I had somebody show me they had text on their packaging, and Amazon, said, you have text in your image. You can't upload this image. And the text was on the packaging, right? So, there's a lot of these issues that, I just feel like when you're dealing with Amazon, you have to be prepared that you're going to deal with some headaches. But if you know how to navigate things and you can overcome it, obviously it's a great opportunity to sell products. But, dealing with Amazon can be challenging at times, to say the least.
Right. Yeah. I think it's, it's with any platform, right? Like we recently started selling on Walmart, and I mean, it kind of makes Amazon seller support look good, because Walmart doesn't really have, like, it's a good platform, and they're really trying to build something there, and they're trying to be good about it, but there's really no support. And the system is down all the time, and it's just kind of a mess. So it's part of selling on a third-party platform. And all of us love the traffic that we get from Amazon. We love the channel. It's still a great opportunity, but it's just one of those things. We gotta stick with it. So it has been super weird. We had like a couple of our listings were suppressed, and it said something about like the main image being attractive or something. And we were like, what? Okay.
I keep telling Amy not to use the bikini photo on the main image. I keep telling her that.
I mean, I work hard for this body. Okay.
I know. I see the stories.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So what about these bad reviews that Amazon is following up with customers, Liran? How do you feel about that? Like, they're following up on bad reviews, but we're not allowed to.
Yeah. So for those that didn't see, I had a friend of mine send me this email he got from Amazon. He bought a Blink, I think it's a Blink like security camera, which is owned by Amazon. And he gave it a 1-star review. I think he was having like, issues with it. He gave it a 1-star review, and then he got an email from, I'm an Amazon account representative working with Blink, and I saw you wrote, you had a problem with the product. I wanted to help you. What's your email and phone number? And I posted that, and like, it really shows that, unfair treatment to Amazon's own products. If third-party sellers could do that, I think they would love the opportunity to fix issues for people. And although the email didn't say like, hey, we want you to change your review, but certainly being able to reach out to a customer when they have an issue is potentially, they could go change their review because you fixed their issue, or potentially you could ask them if they would be willing to update it. And sellers just don't get that luxury. So this is why Amazon is being scrutinized, by Congress, and why they have bad press, because they say they don't do these things, but in reality they do these things. Just like I'm sure Jeff Bezos said when he was in Congress that they don't allow Amazon employees to use third-party data to create products, but he's not sure that it's never been violated, right? Like internally you have employees that have violated these guidelines. And we've seen in the last month, today actually there was an article I posted about an Amazon employee that was arrested by the FBI because he was refunding orders. Like, I think they went into accounts, changed pricing. People, they had like their own accounts buying products and then refunding the purchases without returning the product or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on that shouldn't go on, and it'd be interesting to see if any action will be taken against Amazon for this kind of stuff, and what that may look like.
Thanks for tuning in to part 1 of this episode. Join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for live Q&A and bonus content after the recording at sellerroundtable.com. Sponsored by the ultimate software tool for Amazon sales and growth, sellerseo.com and amazingathome.com.